The old playground stood at the edge of Hollow Creek, a place where time seemed to stand still. It was a looming skeleton of rusted metal and faded paint, a stark reminder of days long gone. The swings creaked rhythmically in the wind, their rusty chains groaning like ghosts, as if mourning the loss of the children who once played there. No children's laughter filled the air, only the mournful sigh of the wind whispering secrets of the past. The Hollowfield Playground was once a joyous place, filled with the echoes of children's laughter, their games and shouts creating a symphony of happiness. Now it stood desolate, shrouded in an eerie silence, a stark contrast to its vibrant past. The townsfolk whispered tales of a curse, a dark shadow that had fallen over the playground. They spoke of children who vanished without a trace, their laughter swallowed by the shadows, leaving only an unsettling silence behind. The playground, once a symbol of joy, had become a haunted relic, feared by all who dared to approach, its eerie presence a constant reminder of the unknown. The air grew heavy with dread as the sun began to set, casting long, eerie shadows across the playground, making it look even more sinister. The rusty swings creaked louder as if pushed by unseen hands, their movements a chilling echo of the past. As the fog rolled in, the playground seemed to disappear, swallowed by the mist, leaving behind an unsettling feeling of dread. The once vibrant colours of the playground had faded, replaced by a palette of rust and decay, a haunting reminder of what once was. The townsfolk avoided the playground, their fear palpable, as if the very ground was cursed. Under the moonlight, the playground took on an even more sinister appearance, its shadows dancing like spectres in the night. The wind howled through the empty playground, a ghostly wail that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who dared to listen. As dawn approached, the fog began to lift, revealing the desolate playground once more, a haunting reminder of the past.
Ready?
Sam, Jake, Mia and Emma stood at the rusted gates. The iron was cold beneath their fingers. They were the Daredevils of Hollow Creek, unafraid, or so they claimed, of the playground's sinister reputation. Tonight they would challenge the curse, armed with flashlights and youthful bravado. The others nodded, their faces pale in the gathering gloom. Emma, the bravest of the group, pushed open the creaking gate. The hinges groaned in protest, as if warning them to turn back. A shiver ran down Mia's spine. The air inside felt different, colder, heavier. It pressed down on them, stealing their breath.
See? Just an old playground.
They ventured deeper, their footsteps echoing in the uncanny silence. The swings swayed gently, despite the lack of breeze. A low whisper seemed to emanate from the shadows, sending chills down their spines.
Did you hear that?
Jake shook his head, his face pale.
Just the wind.
They reached the slide, its metal surface cold and damp. Emma ran her hand along the chipped paint, a strange shiver running up her arm.
I don't like this.
The whispers grew louder, swirling around them like a malevolent wind. They couldn't make out the words, but the tone was undeniably menacing, filled with an ancient, chilling anger. A sudden rustle in the bushes behind the slide made them jump. Jake spun around, his flashlight beam darting across the darkness.
Who's there?
Silence met his question. Only the creaking swings and the rustling leaves answered. Emma pointed her flashlight at the spot where Jake stood only moments before.
Where's Jake?
Panic welled up inside them. They searched frantically, their flashlight beams crisscrossing the darkness.
Jake, where are you?
But there was no answer. Jake had vanished, swallowed by the shadows as if he had never been there at all. The whispers seemed to grow louder, taunting them, mocking their fear. A thick fog began to roll in, swirling around their feet like ghostly apparitions. The temperature plummeted, and the air grew heavy with moisture and dread.
We need to get out of here.
Mia whimpered, her eyes darting nervously in the thickening gloom. Her voice was high-pitched with terror.
Yeah, let's move.
Sam and Emma, their faces white with fear, nodded in agreement. They turned to run, but the fog had grown thicker, disorienting them.
I can't see anything.
The familiar landmarks of the playground, the swings, the slide, the monkey bars, were swallowed by the swirling mist. They were lost, trapped in a white, swirling void. The whispers were all around them now, closer, more insistent. They seemed to be closing in, tightening their grip on the terrified teenagers. Then they saw them. Faces materialized in the fog, pale and gaunt, with eyes that glowed with an eerie light. Their mouths were open in silent screams, their expressions twisted in eternal agony. The children who had vanished, they had come for them. Emma screamed, a high-pitched wail that tore through the silence.
We have to get out of here.
Sam grabbed her hand, his own terror momentarily forgotten in the face of her fear. They ran blindly through the fog, the ghostly faces swirling around them, their silent screams echoing in their ears. The whispers grew louder, urging them onward, herding them like cattle toward an unknown fate. They could feel icy fingers brushing against their skin, hear the rasp of breath on their necks. They stumbled and fell, scrambling to their feet, their breaths coming in short, panicked bursts. The fog was thick, almost tangible, wrapping around them like a suffocating blanket. Their hearts pounded in their chests, a frantic rhythm that matched their desperate pace. The rusty gate materialized out of the fog, its iron bars slick with moisture, standing as a silent sentinel in the swirling whiteness. It was a beacon of hope, a promise of escape from the nightmare that pursued them. With a final burst of adrenaline, they surged forward, their legs burning with the effort. They scrambled through the gate, their escape hampered by the ghostly hands that reached for them, cold and clammy, trying to pull them back into the mist. The hands seemed to materialize from the fog itself, spectral and relentless. They didn't stop running until they reached the safety of Sam's house, their lungs burning, their clothes torn and muddied. The journey felt endless, each step a battle against the unseen forces that sought to drag them back. They huddled together on the porch, their breath coming in ragged gasps, their eyes wide with terror. The fog had receded, but the chill of its presence lingered in the air. Their minds were haunted by the images of ghostly faces and the sound of whispers that seemed to echo in their ears. The terror of the playground had imprinted itself deeply on their souls. The fog might have lifted, but the memories of their harrowing escape remained vivid. They could still feel the icy touch of the ghostly hands and hear the sinister whispers that had filled the air. The haunted faces in the fog, the eerie whispers and the relentless pursuit were imprinted on their minds. They knew they had been lucky to escape, but the fear had not left them. The curse of Hollowfield Playground was real, a dark legend that had come to life. They had survived the night, but they knew the shadows would always be a part of them. The next day, the police searched the playground, but they found no trace of Jake. They combed every inch, every corner, but it was as if he had simply evaporated into thin air. He was gone, vanished without a trace, just like the others. The swing set creaked eerily in the wind, a haunting reminder of the children who had disappeared before him. Sam, Mia and Emma told no one what they had seen that night. They huddled together, their faces pale and eyes wide with fear, knowing that their story would sound too fantastical to be believed. They knew no one would believe them. The adults would dismiss their tale as a figment of overactive imaginations, a product of too many ghost stories and late-night movies. They would be labelled as pranksters, attention seekers, liars. The fear of ridicule and disbelief kept their lips sealed, their secret buried deep within. So they kept their silence. the terrifying secret of Hollowfield Playground locked away in the deepest recesses of their minds. The weight of it pressed heavily on their young shoulders, a burden they were too scared to share. But the memory of that night never left them. It lingered in their thoughts, a constant, chilling presence that refused to fade. It haunted their dreams, followed them like a shadow. Night after night, they would wake up in cold sweats, the echoes of their screams still ringing in their ears. They could still hear the whispers, see the ghostly faces in the fog, feel the icy touch of the unseen hands. The playground, once a place of joy, had become a realm of nightmares. They knew deep down that the curse of Hollowfield Playground was far from over. It was a dark force, an evil that thrived on fear and despair. It was waiting, lurking in the shadows, hungry for its next victims. The children of Hollowfield knew that as long as the playground stood, the terror would never truly end. The Hollowfield Playground remained abandoned, a testament to the town's fear and the darkness that clung to it. The rusty swings creaked in the wind, a mournful symphony for the lost souls trapped within its gates. And the fog still rolled in at night, thicker than ever, concealing the playground's secrets and the ghostly figures that roamed there, waiting for the next group of unsuspecting teenagers foolish enough to challenge the curse.